Well, you're here because you filled out a survey about a guy and he scored a C. In many important ways, this guy is falling short. Welcome to the Strong Brew, where you get answers to questions you're not supposed to ask. These are some things you may want to know about the man in your life. If you do really well in your career, will he become insecure? Will he try and use money to control you? Will he share housework or just make you do it all? In fights, when he gets angry, does he get aggressive? During intimacy, does he understand that no means no? Is he jealous, suspicious, or possessive? Will his attitude towards you change after having kids? Will he treat your parents with respect? What if you have conflicts with his parents? We tell you what you need to hear, not what you want to hear. These are things nobody else will tell you, things that are important for your future. This is a safe space for truth. No judgment, no platitudes, no login, no payment either. Our questions are from real life, but our answers come from science. Now, I built this thing, me and my husband, and honestly, we built it and we live it. We are both Stanford grads, we both have worked at Google, and we've been happily together since 1998. Along the way, we've added a son, now 13, and 4 dogs. We are genuine folks. If you're a woman trying to understand any man in your life, here is how it works. Go to www.thestrongbrew.life. Click on the Understand a Guy button there. Answer 10 questions about him. Watch a video tailored to your guy. That's all there is to it. It is completely anonymous, no login, no payment, no games, no manipulation. This analysis is obtained by combining solid trait psychology with cutting edge AI ML. We represent each person's personality with what is known as a feature vector. This has 10 elements, so our data is effectively 10 dimensional data. In case you're wondering how we can infer so much from just 10 questions, well, 10 dimensional data is very complex. There is a lot you can learn from that level of detail.
Okay, I think that does it for the preamble. Now let's plunge in. Let's start with this guy in his career. Will he go far or just talk big?
Most likely, he's not going to go very far in his career, even if he talks about big dreams. He enjoys interesting ideas and can get excited about possibilities, but he doesn't have the drive or discipline to stick with hard work for long. If you're hoping for a partner who will do whatever it takes to succeed, he's not that kind of man.
Can he bounce back from failure?
When things go wrong at work, he's likely to step back and avoid dealing with the problem rather than face it head on. He won't shout or create drama, but he can quietly distance himself and disappear from the issue, hoping it will resolve on its own. This pattern can be frustrating if you want a partner who tackles problems and learns from them.
What do people at work think of him? Do they like him?
Most people at work probably don't know him very well because he tends to keep to himself and avoids strong opinions or arguments. He's not the kind to pick fights or cause trouble, but he also doesn't show much care or respect for others' feelings. So, real friendships are rare. People won't dislike him, but they might not feel close to him either.
If you do really well in your career, will he become insecure?
If you do really well in your own career, he won't feel insecure or jealous, but he may not be openly proud or supportive either. He tends to keep his feelings to himself, and showing excitement for your achievements isn't his strength. You won't see him celebrating your wins or cheering you on with big gestures.
What if you start earning more than him?
He's not likely to secretly resent you or feel insecure if you earn more than him. Money and status don't bother him much, so he probably won't make a fuss or start comparing incomes. You won't see him sulking or fighting about it, but don't expect much praise or support either.
Next, let's talk about how he is with money. Does he overspend? Is he reckless with money?
He's not careful with money and tends to spend without much thought. Planning, saving, or keeping track of expenses isn't something he pays attention to, so you might notice him buying things on a whim or forgetting important bills. If you want a partner who sits down to budget or saves for bigger goals, he might let you down.
Does he show off and pretend to be richer than he is?
He's likely to live beyond his means and might play up a lifestyle that looks more glamorous than what he can actually afford. He enjoys nice things and the excitement of new experiences, but he doesn't really stop to think about whether his wallet matches his taste. He's not one to plan or save, so it's easy for him to slip into pretending to be richer than he is.
Is he too generous, too stingy, or just right?
He isn't naturally open handed or very kind when it comes to helping others or sharing what he has. He's not mean, but he doesn't go out of his way to support or care for people. And you might notice that he holds back both his money and his feelings. Being with him can feel lonely if you value kindness and a giving nature in your partner.
Will he use money to try and control you?
He's more likely to be secretive than open about money. He doesn't love talking about finances and might keep things to himself, leaving you guessing about where the money goes or what's truly happening. He isn't very controlling, but his lack of communication can make things confusing and sometimes stressful.
Let's see how this guy is with sharing housework. Will he share housework or just make you do it?
He's unlikely to step up and share housework willingly and might quietly expect you to handle most of it yourself. He prefers to avoid chores and daily routines, so he may disappear or distract himself when it's time to clean or organize. If a fair, balanced partnership is important to you, you'll probably find yourself carrying the heavier load at home unless you set clear rules and ask for what you need.
Will he help you or just boss you around and tell you what to do?
He's much more likely to stand aside or supervise rather than roll up his sleeves and actually help with chores or diapers. When tasks get messy or demanding, he'll quietly step back, letting you do most of the work. You'll need to ask directly for help, and even then, he may not follow through as much as you hope.
Now let's see about how this guy is during fights. In fights, does he try to understand your views or just win the fight?
He doesn't usually argue to prove he's right, but he also doesn't put much effort into truly understanding your side. Instead, he's likely to keep quiet, avoid deep conversations, or let the topic drop without much discussion. You won't face loud fights, but you might feel ignored or like your feelings aren't being taken seriously.
Does he become aggressive when angry?
When he's angry, he stays mostly quiet and distances himself rather than saying hurtful things or acting aggressive. You probably won't hear shouting or harsh words from him. Instead, he might withdraw, avoid you, or give you the cold shoulder.
Does he have a bad temper?
No, he isn't the kind of man who gets angry quickly. His temper stays calm and he doesn't lose control or raise his voice easily. So you aren't ignoring any major red flags about anger or aggression with him.
Will he say sorry and accept his mistakes?
He rarely says sorry or takes responsibility for his mistakes. Most of the time, he stays silent or avoids the topic altogether, rather than openly blaming you or starting a fight. You might find yourself handling problems alone, wishing he'd step up and own his actions.
Next, let's talk about intimacy and physical chemistry. During intimacy, does he respect your boundaries? Does he get that no means no?
Yes, he is likely to respect your boundaries and understand that no means no. He doesn't push too hard or insist on getting his way when you're uncomfortable. If you say no, he steps back and gives you space, sometimes more than you expect.
If you are not in the mood for intimacy, will he react badly?
No, he doesn't take it personally if you're not in the mood for intimacy. He tends to step back quietly without getting hurt or starting a fight about it. His reaction is more to withdraw and avoid the topic than to argue or blame you.
Can you trust him not to shame you or share your private moments, maybe love letters, photos, or videos, even after a breakup or a bad fight?
Yes, you can trust him to handle private moments with care and not use them to hurt or embarrass you later. He keeps things to himself and doesn't share your secrets or private experiences with others. Your special moments stay safe with him, offering you a sense of security in your relationship.
Is he loyal or is he likely to want to have affairs?
He is not easily distracted by other women and tends to keep to himself rather than chase outside attention. He's not very outgoing or flirtatious and prefers staying in his comfort zone instead of seeking excitement elsewhere. You don't need to worry much about him straying or looking for other relationships behind your back.
Will he be jealous, suspicious, and try to control you?
No, he is not over possessive or likely to act jealous, controlling, or always suspicious. He doesn't worry much about what you're doing or who you're with and rarely asks lots of questions or tries to keep you close all the time. Instead, he prefers to step back and let you have your own space.
This guy says he is protective in a good way. Is he actually just being possessive?
No, his protective nature is not really a sign of a controlling personality. In fact, he isn't very protective or concerned about what you do, where you go, or who you meet. He likes to keep to himself and avoids interfering in your choices or decisions.
Now, onto the topic of kids and how this guy will be as a father. If you guys have kids, will he make you do most of the work?
He won't really see parenting as a team effort and will expect you to do most of the work, even if he doesn't say it out loud. When it comes to daily care, school, or emotional support, he's more likely to step back and let you handle things. He won't argue or demand, but his quiet distance means you'll often be doing it alone.
Kids are very messy. Will he lose his temper with them?
When the kids mess up or get upset, he will stay calm and avoid losing his temper. He isn't likely to yell or get angry, but instead might quietly step back and let you handle things. He won't help much with problem solving or comforting. Rather, he keeps away from stressful situations.
If you guys have kids, will he still support your career?
He's unlikely to actively support your role as both a mother and your own person. While he doesn't stand in your way or tell you what to do, he doesn't go out of his way to encourage or ease your journey either. You may find yourself managing family and personal goals alone as he quietly steps back and avoids getting involved.
Will this man say one thing early on, maybe while dating, and then later, after kids and marriage, change his tune and try to make you give up your career?
No, this isn't the kind of man who will support your career now only to ask you to quit after you have a child. He isn't very concerned about what you choose to do, whether in your career or family life. You won't face strict demands or sudden changes in attitude after becoming a mother.
Next, let's see how this guy treats your parents. Will he be respectful with your parents?
He's more likely to just act polite on the surface rather than show real warmth to your parents. He doesn't naturally connect deeply or go out of his way to make them feel special or included. You may notice that conversations stay short and friendly but lack true interest or care. He isn't the type to push your family to change for him, but he also won't go out of his way to adjust or fit in.
What if your family creates stress or interferes a bit in your lives?
If your family creates stress or interferes, he will handle it calmly by keeping quiet or staying out of the way. He won't shout or pick fights, and he's unlikely to make the situation worse. Instead, he'll step back and let you deal with it, avoiding any extra drama.
Then let's analyze the role this guy's family will play in your life. Is this man modern with you but a completely different person when other people, say his parents or bosses, are around?
No, he isn't the kind of man who will demand that you act like a traditional supportive wife in front of his relatives. He doesn't watch over your behavior or set strict rules either at home or with family. You won't face pressure from him to act differently just to please others.
If there is tension between you and his parents, will he support you?
If there's tension, he will most likely stay out of it instead of supporting you or siding with his family. He doesn't enjoy conflict and prefers to let things settle quietly without getting involved. This can make you feel alone during family troubles, wishing he would show more care or loyalty.
Say you have a conflict with his mother. What will this guy do?
He is not a typical mummy's boy, but he also won't clearly choose your side in a conflict with his mother. Instead of standing up for either of you, he usually keeps quiet and stays out of the argument altogether. He doesn't put his mother's wishes above yours, but he also won't support you actively.
Will he share all the private details of your relationship with his mother or sister?
He usually won't share every detail of your fights or private life with his mother or sister. He prefers to keep things to himself and isn't very talkative about personal matters. This means your private issues will mostly stay between the two of you not become family gossip.
Now let's zoom out and put it all together.
So that's the story. This guy scores a C. In many important ways, this guy is falling short of the standard we would want. Being in a relationship with this man means living with someone who is friendly on the surface, but keeps a lot of distance emotionally and in daily life. You'll often feel like you're the one carrying the weight, planning, organizing, and caring for everyone, while he quietly steps back and stays in his own world.